are competing in, we are repeating in, we are believing in. It's time for us to shift our mind from best in the world to best for the world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. It creates a new world to mind a shift, intentionality, perceptuality, conceptuality. We are choosing to shift our mind to best for the world, best for our world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional.
Welcome to this episode of Wisdom Gym, and I'm Stella Nordahl, and I'm here together with Monica Fallesen. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
And Michael Cillian, you're with us, Michael. Good to see you too.
I am.
And well, the topic of today is not only Wisdom Gym, it's about the Wisdom Gym itself. What is a Wisdom Gym? How can we use it, and what happens if we use the forces or the powers of the Wisdom Gym on the topic of Wisdom Gym itself? So it's a little bit of a meta perspective here today. And first of all, I think, Michael, it was a couple of years ago that I heard you mention the term Wisdom Gym for the first time, and I was really then thinking of how can I use this gym to leverage my own and other people's capabilities? So maybe there's where we should start. What is a Wisdom Gym for you, Michael?
Yeah, it's a very broad term. As wisdom is a very broad term as well, so it's not hard to find. In any case, I came in contact with it for the first time during when COVID started, and Peter Lindbergh hosted something called the Stoa, and 1/3 of the things he hosted on there he called Wisdom Gyms, because there were exercises. There was just not listening or an interview or things like that we do. So some kind of exercise where you train any of your wisdom skills, and there are many, and they're varied, and things like that. So.
Okay, so we talk about skills here, and okay, so what kind of skills would we say that we could or should train in a Wisdom Gym? What is your take on that, Monica? What would you like to train or to amplify when going to a Wisdom Gym? What kind of capabilities or powers or?
I think I would like to be more thorough when I do things. I am a person that go with the emotions, and I'm a fast learner, but I'm not that thorough. So I would like to train to be a little bit more thorough and not that fast to do things. I think that's my take. The first one that came up with me.
I'm also thinking of going to a Wisdom Gym. Probably there are some kind of training facilities at this gym, and I first when you mentioned this a couple of years ago, Michael, I was thinking of my own capabilities as leading myself, personal development and stuff like that. But when I think of it today, I would say yes, of course, know yourself before you get to know others, and train yourself before you train others, and lead yourself before you lead others. But then, when we're going to do something together, organize and maybe the kind of organization that we call a society, what is then needed? What kind of what kind of capabilities and how can I train them? And then I'm thinking of this, what are the facilities here in this wisdom gym? How can I train my democratic muscle, for instance? That's something I've been thinking of a lot. So, Michael, you have been into democracy issues or questions or capabilities for quite a while. What kind of democratic capabilities can we train in a wisdom gym? Do you have any ideas on that one?
Yeah, I like all of them.
All of them,
yeah.
of which?
What wisdom gym is the broadest exercise. Like in the democratic gym is like very similar, very tangential to that. Maybe a little narrow. I don't know, but like democracy is of course making decisions in the group, and then collaboration and leadership and things like that. And these are things that people exercise. So the gym, if you think of the gym, you can take like a good analogy. Like in a boxing gym, you train jumping ropes, but you never do jumping ropes in the boxing ring where you actually do the exercise, do the action there. So that's a very good thing. So in the gym, you can train things that you want to do when you work or live, but you do them in a way that you don't do them in real life, or you can do them exactly like you do them in the real life, by the dry run or a improv version of it, or a role play version of it, whatever it is. Because most of the wisdom skills or democracy skills are cognitive and empathic and things like that. You can simulate them through role play and things like that. So that's an exercise you can do.
You're thinking of something here, Monica. I'm looking at you and I see that there is something that is going on, and maybe you're formulating something here. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of the movie Karate Kid. Wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. It's kind of similar to exactly what you're talking about the ropes. You're training the ropes, but in the ring you don't do hula hoops, and it's kind of the Karate Kid. You try to be patient. You try to do the same thing over and over and again and get the precision. And I think that's interesting because we are not trained. When we train to do things, we don't train them in another way than we do them. If we're training a conversation, we train conversation. We are not training to listen, for example. So there are skills that we should supposed to be training that's not the skill we are doing. It's the skill behind them.
That's very interesting. So, for instance, if we're talking about decision making, for instance, depending on what you train, that's what you get into the decision making. So, if we use measuring stuff, focusing on facts and stuff, then we're stuck with that. For good and worse, for of course. Many good things about facts and measuring stuff, but we don't get any intuition, or we don't get any inherent knowledge or wisdom or whatever it is. So then this wisdom gym, does it exclude some kind of capabilities? Or what I'm looking for is, for instance, let's say that we have some physical training in an ordinary gym. Is that part of the wisdom gym also? I mean, knowing your body the body is a fantastic tool to enter the world with. We experience everything through our bodies. You're thinking here. I'm
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah. A couple of days ago, I was with a colleague in the southern of Sweden, and we were talking about intuition and what does intuition make to a decision. And then my colleague told me that when you're a military or a policeman, you're supposed to be standing like this, and the upper body is very straight, and when you are doing like that, you can't use your stomach. So it's what you're trained to do. If I'm trained to be like that and very straightforward, then it doesn't compel with intuition. And I think that was I haven't heard that before. That you can't use your stomach when you're standing in. Now I'm looking at the military, so what about standing like that, and then you don't use your stomach.
I don't know that, because I'm also a singer, and then we use the stomach, and then we stand. So I think it's maybe a technique.
Oh,
could be. I don't know. This is something I haven't thought of. So
No?
I'm just drawing this parallel to the singing with your stomach and using that as a support. And whoops.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I have to think of that a little bit more. Anyway, there is something there about what happens if we have a flow and we shut that flow down. We don't get the energy from that. So it could definitely be that this analogy is valid for many various flows. For instance, if we have this flow from the stomach or whatever it is, and if we shut it off, then we can't use it. So it's almost the same thing about when we train with a specific facility or a specific capability. You talked about if we're talking about how if we talk, we don't listen, and so on. So this is probably something in that direction, I guess. So again, is wisdom must be part. The body must be a part of the wisdom, but maybe not all facilities or all training methods is valid. I don't know. I'm just thinking of it. I mean, for instance, if we want to train any capability, just because you use your hand doesn't say that you use it in the right way. So probably there are some kind of a, I wouldn't say right or wrong, but maybe some kind of a setup that is giving better results than others, or you tap into wisdom in a good way or a not that good way. Maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to test talk here. I don't know if it's making any sense.
But you certainly, like, if you come to things, I'm very good at all kinds of flow states and flow state training, and that I used to say to people, now that I discovered it, if you want to dance like me on the dance floor, think of like you're doing Tai Chi movements with your hand, and then you speed it up 3 to 5 times. And it's the same time of flow and energy. And flow states are, of course, a part of the wisdom skills we need to understand flow states. Because if we can get people into flow easier, it's easier to be productive and creative and kind and present.
But if we use the flow, which I like and I love to be in a flow, then when I started, I told you about the furrow thing. I think that I should be training, and if you are in a flow, you don't do the thorough thinking, and I think it's a kind of opposite, really. So I don't think that flow is just a good thing, because it could be.
It depends on the kind of flow. If you are the flow when you stop thinking, that's a kind of like energy flow. But you also have that cognitive flow. When I play board games for hours, I have deep concentration and thinking and strategy thinking. I'm still in it. That's a type of cognitive flow. I don't use my body so much then, but I am very, very present in that. And I used to study my friends, because when in deep thought, how do they sit, how do they look when they're thinking about their turn and things like that. So it's not like science study, but it's my anecdotal evidence of how people look when they are in different types of flow.
Yeah, interesting. I'm also thinking here of going to a wisdom gym. Who is getting the results? Is it the primary yourself, or is it the primary the society, or could it be both and? I mean, if you go to a physical gym, I would say a lot of what you do there is for yourself. It's not for your family. It's not for you. It could be in some way that you keep yourself fit and so on, but it doesn't spill over. I would say wisdom is more like if I do something and I'm in the same organization as the two of you here, then it spills over. And if that organization or organizing system is a society, then it spills over on everyone. I wouldn't say that happens in a physical gym in that sense, but maybe it does. I'm maybe too much new to this terminology with wisdom gym to make a good comparison here. I don't know. Have you thought of that, Michael?
Yeah. For a simple explanation, I've listened a lot to John Vervaeke for the years, and he is one of the scientists who actually research science. And the simple explanation is wisdom is the art of living well, and wisdom is also one of the few things that the more you have of it, the better it is. You use it for good, not for evil. You can be very intelligent, but you can use that for evil. But the kind of definition of wisdom is you do less evil and more good with it. But of course you have to make compromises in certain situations with wisdom, like the classical trolley problem and stuff like that. But the definition of wisdom is that is something you use for good, and that can be like living well for yourself, or for society, or for the planet and the biosphere. And there of course has to be compromises and stuff like that. But then itself, wisdom is the perspective and the awareness of the compromises you make, like being aware of all your cognitive biases for once. And there are many of them, and we don't think about them daily, because that's the very definition of a cognitive bias. We can't see them if you're not explicitly using the type of glasses, like we trying to be aware of all the biases we do on a daily basis and stuff like that. But that's part of wisdom. Like, that's a role play work you can do. You can take one cognitive bias at the time and play with it to become more aware of it and things like that. There's things that we seldom do. Even I haven't done that for several years, but we did that during the STOA time, taking a cognitive bias and play with that and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you have a cognitive bias or any bias, you're actually blind to something, and that could also be a good way to train your wisdom, because if we're biased, then we take decisions or look at things in a certain way. And there is also an interesting thing, because if you use your empathic capabilities, you can take some kind of another position, or maybe even perception. That's quite interesting, I say. Maybe that's something that we need to train in a wisdom gym, the capability to look at the world from another view.
It would be interesting to do a Glassbeard Games about the term wisdom, because there are people that are very wise, if you can compare it to wisdom. I think of the monks in the eastern countries. They are isolated from the society. They are very wise and can have answers to all the questions. But if you talk to them about how are you going to do about the war in Gaza or something like that. Yeah, well, I meditate, because that's the way I do to contribute to the society by meditating. Is that wisdom, or is that I'm focusing on something that makes me wise, but does it contribute to the society? I think wisdom is a very broad and
elusive, yeah.
Yeah, it
there
is.
There are many kinds of wisdom. And
exactly.
they are wise, of course. But I would consider the three of us wise in another way.
Yeah.
Not in the way they are, but in the way we are, and the way we're seeking wisdom. So wisdom is a process. You're never done. You have to seek it. You have to question yourself. It's like part of the scientific process. It's also like part of the perspective process. Like you have to constantly be aware that whatever I do, I'm always biased. But the more I try to be aware of it, the better. But I can never be like free from it.
Yeah.
And even the wisest monks are biased, but you know what I mean.
I think that could be something you could train to maybe not get rid of, but at least be first room be aware of, and in the second room maybe take a specific position or perception that that lowers or decrease the level of bias, and then in the third room maybe train yourself in doing this and internalize that knowledge. That's super interesting actually, because you probably would be able to see new stuff in a quite intense pace if you take other people's or other I would say not only people but maybe other societies' views and other religions or civilizations.
Yeah, like say that you want to put together a super team of 12 wise people. You don't want to have 12 monks. Want to have one monk. You want to have one future captain. You want to have one world leader. You have one diplomat and things like that. People have done very different things, and you have to have them play nice together, because that's part of the wisdom process, like listening to others and stuff like that.
That's interesting, because that was, I think it was that I was trying to tell. It's wisdom. It's not like you can have that in one person. Wisdom, it's something bigger, and it's maybe it's to be wise is to collaborate with others. Because you don't have the whole truth yourself. Then
the wisdom gym itself must be designed to be able to train these capabilities in some kind of a togetherness, and that's where my latest idea about wisdom gym came up, and that's why we're actually sitting here. What happens if we use the terminology of wisdom gym as some kind of a collaborative test bed for ideas, capabilities, some kind of new constellations and so on, and we use that way of working as a way also about not only increasing the level of wisdom or level of wiseness or whatever, but also the level of how can I say, the level of co-creation capability. I would say that's what we're doing now. It's not that we're interviewing each other. We're actually creating as we go. At start, we had some kind of a more or less check-in. What do you think about this? And why did you say that? And you presented this terminology at that point and so on. How do you think of it today? And then we moved into to elaborate on what is a wisdom gym and how can we use it. And then we were into, okay, so now we have some kind of a way of training our capabilities. What kind of facility do we then need? And now we have come into some kind of a not only bringing our own bodies in, but bringing our own consciousness into the dialogue. I really like that. I think that's very beautiful, actually. It's a way of growing together.
What do you think, Michael, when you hear Stellan and I talking about the wisdom gym? Is it a way of wisdom gym? Do you think of it, or is it something else?
Yeah, it's a part of what I think of as it is, and I think about it daily. So I'm one of those people who
Okay, so maybe we should say that this is approximately where as far as we come today. Here in Sweden. Here in Sweden, we are quite late here. Yeah.
Tomorrow about
Yeah.
this.
So we're in a late night here in Sweden, talking about wisdom gyms and what is a wisdom gym. How can we use the terminology to train ourselves and others and do it together? And now we have come up with some idea that it's a collaborative space where we train not only individual capabilities, but it's more like a muscle that we train together. It's something that is in the space between us or around us or among us. I don't know. So well, thank you very much, both Michael and Monica, for accepting my invitation here an hour ago about having this conversation
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, yeah, that's right. And
How could I resist?
I hope you had a good time here, and that you find the topic so interesting that we want to do maybe another session tomorrow night on Wisdom Gym. If you would like that, it would be great. I don't know what you say about it, but thank you very much for joining in, and also all of you that have been listening in either live or afterwards. And if you have any ideas on what a Wisdom Gym is, how we can use it, and where to do our next Wisdom Gym training, let us know. Take care and good night to everyone.
Good night.
Take care, Michael. Bye.
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 We are creating the world we're now living in. We are competing in. We are repeating in. We are believing in. It's time for us to shift our mind from best in the world to best for the world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. It creates a new world to mind a shift, intentionality, perceptuality, conceptuality. We are choosing to shift our mind to best for the world, best for our world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional.